हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल। तो आज की वीडियो में हम देखने वाले हैं एनसीईआरटी इकोनॉमिक का टेस्ट सीरीज़, जिसमें आज हम देखेंगे set-2। तो आप भी मेरे साथ अटेंड कीजिए और अगर आपका आंसर आता है तो मुझे कमेंट्स में बताइए। तो शुरू करते हैं हमारा आज का टेस्ट सीरीज़। फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन है, कंसिडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स रिगार्डिंग नेशनल इनकम। नेशनल इनकम इज द मॉनेटरी वैल्यू ऑफ द टोटल गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज प्रोड्यूस्ड इन द कंट्री. In India, national income is calculated and published by Central Statistical Organization. Production method, income method, and expenditure method are three methods that are used to calculate national income. National income helps us to know the economic progress achieved and to make comparative study. Which of the following choices is correct? तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी 1, 2, 3 and 4. National income is the monetary value of the total goods and services produced in the country. In India, national income is calculated and published by Central Statistical Organization. Production method, income method, and expenditure method are three methods that are used to calculate national income, and national income help us to know the economic progress achieved and to make comparative study. The difference between the GNP and NNP is equal to the consumer expenditure on durable goods, direct tax revenue, indirect tax revenue, capital depreciation. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी कैपिटल डेप्रिसिएशन. What are the uses of national income statistics? National income statistics are valuable instruments of economic analysis and a guide to economic policies to be pursued. It is more useful in context of planning and formulation of realistic plans. It gives an idea of the structure of the economy. It helps to make intersectoral comparisons and to study the rate of growth of the economy. The growth of national income is an index of the growth of the productive capacity of an economy. It helps us to study intersectoral growth. Such comparisons are useful. Share of various sectors can be studied to find out structural defects and weaknesses of the economy. It enables us to study per capita income or per capita consumption, which are general indicators of economic growth, but it is not helpful in revealing distribution of income in the society. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. इसका आंसर होगा ऑप्शन डी 1, 2, 3 and 4, मतलब all of the above. Consider the following statements in Indian context. Saving come from the three sources, viz. households, the private corporate sector and the public sector. On average, households accounted for nearly 3/4 of gross domestic savings during the last 3 decades. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी both 1 and 2. Saving comes from three sources, viz. households, the private corporate sector and the public sector. And on average, households accounted for nearly 3/4 of gross domestic savings during the last 3 decades. Which of the following is or are methods for calculating national income? Product or output method, income method, expenditure method, value added method. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. तो इसका आंसर होगा ऑप्शन डी 1, 2, 3 and 4. Production or output method, income method, expenditure method and value added method. Under the census of income method followed for the calculation of GDP, which factors would be counted? Wages, profits, sales tax. Choose the correct one. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी all 1, 2 and 3, wages, profits and sales tax. Consider the following. In measuring the GDP, there should not be any difference by adopting different methods of measurement of GDP. The three methods, income method, expenditure method and output approach, must yield the same result because the total expenditure on goods and services must, by definition, be equal to the value of goods and services produced, which must be equal to the total income paid to the factors which produce these goods and services. Which of these statements is correct? इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी both 1 and 2. Green revolution started in India during third 5-year plan, fourth 5-year plan, fifth 5-year plan. None of these. This answer is option D. None of these. As per the recently released data, which among the following states of India has recorded highest growth rate in 11th 5-year plan? Gujarat, Maharashtra, Bihar, Rajasthan. This answer is option C. Bihar. Consider the following statements. The Mahalanobis model was implemented in the second 5-year plan. It focused on heavy industries. Choose the correct statement. इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी, both 1 and 2. The Mahalanobis model was implemented in the second 5-year plan and it focused on heavy industries. Consider the following statements about the 12th 5-year plan. It envisioned 9% growth rate target. The overall strategy of the plan revolves around bringing 4% and 10% growth in agriculture and manufacturing sector respectively. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. This answer is option B, 2 only. The overall strategy of the plan revolves around bringing 4% and 10% growth in agriculture and manufacturing sector respectively. The basic feature of the rolling plans was that no physical targets were visualized, revision of the achievements of previous year, annual fluctuation in prices and major economic developments could be considered while fixing targets. No financial target except in term of annual plans was envisaged. This answer is option C. Annual fluctuation in prices and major economic developments could be considered while fixing targets. Match the following. First plan, second plan, third plan, fourth plan, fifth plan. List 2 में है rapid industrialization, community development, expansion of basic needs, minimum needs program, achievement of self-reliance and growth with stability. तो इसमें फर्स्ट प्लान में है कम्युनिटी डेवलपमेंट, सेकंड प्लान का है रैपिड इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन, थर्ड प्लान का है एक्सपेंशन ऑफ बेसिक इंडस्ट्रीज, फोर्थ प्लान का है अचीवमेंट ऑफ सेल्फ रिलायंस एंड ग्रोथ और स्टेबिलिटी, और फिफ्थ प्लान का है मिनिमम नीड्स प्रोग्राम. तो इस हिसाब से हमारा आंसर होगा ऑप्शन बी. ए का 2, बी का 1, सी का 3, डी का 5 और ई का 4. Anti-dumping duties includes the feature. It is a duty which is imposed by way of additional import duty on goods. Sometimes the cost of the goods is even below the cost of production in the country of origin. Which of the statements is correct? इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी, both 1 and 2. It is a duty which is imposed by way of additional import duty on goods, and sometimes the cost of the goods is even below the cost of production in the country of origin. What is correct about ways and means and advance mechanism? It was introduced in April 1997. The concept of budget deficit was 36 withdrawn after introduction of this mechanism. Under this mechanism, the government borrows from the RBI only for temporary mismatch between receipt and expenditure in the form of overdraft. Choose the correct one. This answer is option D, all 1, 2 and 3. It was introduced in April 1997. The concept of budget deficit was 36 withdrawn after introduction of this mechanism, and under this mechanism the government borrows from the RBI only for temporary mismatch between receipt and expenditure in the form of overdraft. What do you understand by public goods? Those goods which belong to the entire community. Defense is an example of public goods. Which of the statements is or are correct? तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी, both 1 and 2. The revenue expenditure of the Government of India includes welfare payments, subsidies, repayment of loans. Choose the correct one. Answer option D, only 1 and 2, welfare payments and subsidies. Consider the following. Fiscal deficit is important as the government's ability to help growth and welfare increases. Government can always return the loans when its revenue improves due to tax buoyancy. Which of these statements is or are correct? This answer option C, both 1 and 2. Fiscal deficit is important as the government's ability to help growth and welfare increases, and government can always return the loans when its revenue improves due to tax buoyancy. Which of the following are components of revenue expenditure? Interest payments on banks, salaries and pensions of government expenses, subsidies, grants to foreign countries, loans to Indian states. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी, 1, 2, 3 and 4 only. Interest payments on banks, salaries and pensions of government expenses, subsidies and grants to foreign countries. Which of the following statements correctly define a fiscal policy? The expenditure and revenue measures or instruments employed by the state to influence the general level of economic activity is known as fiscal policy. Changes in taxes and expenditures which aim at full employment and price level stability and other objectives is fiscal policy. Codes. This answer is option C, both are correct. The expenditure and revenue measures or instruments employed by the state to influence the general level of economic activity is known as fiscal policy, and changes in taxes and expenditures which aim at full employment and price level stability and other objectives is fiscal policy. The major function of the Finance Commission is to remove financial constraint for industrial development, to remove financial constraint for agricultural development, to consider matters concerned with financial relations between union and states, none of the above. This answer is option C, to consider matters concerned with financial relation between union and states. On which one of the following head of expenses the expenses of the Government of India are highest? Food subsidy, fertilizer subsidy, Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, maintenance of national highways. इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन ए, फूड सब्सिडी. Which one of the following is the correct about the fiscal deficit during 11th 5-year plan? Fiscal deficit was gradually increased from the beginning towards the end of the plan. Fiscal deficit was gradually decreased from the beginning towards the end of the plan. Fiscal deficit was remained constant throughout the plan period. Fiscal deficit was gradually increased at first half and then decreased at the second half. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी, fiscal deficit was gradually increased at first half then decreased at the second half. The difference between crude birth rate and crude death rate is called crude growth rate of population, natural growth rate of population, expected growth rate of population, none of these. इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी, none of these. In which of the following states growth rate of population was maximum during 2001 to 11? बिहार, दादर एंड नागर हवेली, दामन एंड दीव, पुडुचेरी. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन बी, दादर एंड नागर हवेली. Which of the following is not a reason of high birth rates? Predominance of agriculture, slow rate of urbanization, high poverty ratio, none of these. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी, नन ऑफ दिस। What are the main features of elderly population 60 years and above in India as per 2011 census? Majority of the elderly population are in rural area. There is a decrease in the number of elder people. Majority of them are below poverty line. Which of the above statements is or are correct? इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन ए, वन ओनली। Majority of the elderly population are in rural area. Population experts refer to the possible demographic bonus that may accrue to India in the near future. They are referring to the phenomenon of a sharp drop in the total population, a surge in population in the productive age group, a decline in both birth and death rates, a well-balanced sex ratio. इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन बी, a surge in the population in the productive age group. Net population size will increase if initial population size along with birth rate and immigration rate are more than death rate and immigration rate. Initial population size along with birth rate and immigration rate are less than death rate and immigration rate. Only birth rate and immigration rate are more than the death rate and immigration rate. Only birth rate and immigration rate are more than the death rate and immigration rate. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन ए, इनिशियल पॉपुलेशन साइज along with birth rate and immigration rate and more than death rate and immigration rate. Which of the following is not related with banking sector reforms in India? Asset reconstruction companies, SURFACE Act, Basel accounting system, none of these. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी, none of these. Consider the following. Cooperative banks in India don't perform fundamental banking activities. State Cooperative Bank is apex cooperative institution in the state. Cooperative bank organization in India has 3-tier setup. Which of these statements is or are correct? तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी, all 1, 2 and 3. Cooperative banks in India don't perform fundamental banking activities. State Cooperative Bank is apex cooperative institution in the state, and Cooperative Bank organization in India has 3-tier setup. What do you understand by SLR, statutory liquidity ratio? It is the portion of time and demand liabilities of banks that they should keep in the form of designated liquid assets. Reduction in SLR reduces the cost of borrowing for the government. Choose the correct statements regarding the SLR. This answer is option C, both 1 and 2. It is the portion of the time and demand liabilities of banks that they should keep in the form of designated liquid assets, and reduction in SLR reduces the cost of borrowing for the government. Liquidity adjustments facility of the RBI includes use of repo and reverse repo, selective controls, market stabilization, statutory liquidity ratio. Select the correct answer using the code given below. इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन ए, ओनली 1 and 3, repo and reverse repo and market stabilization. Who is the sole authority in India to issue currency? RBI, Ministry of Finance. In the cooperation of Ministry of Finance, RBI issues the currency. None of the above. This answer is option A, RBI. Consider the following statements about marginal standing facility. It is basically a borrowing window for banks maintained by RBI. It is part of RBI monetary policy tool. Cost of borrowing under this window is always higher than liquidity adjustment facility. Which of the statements given above is or are incorrect? तो इसमें इनकरेक्ट पूछा है, तो इसका आंसर होगा ऑप्शन डी, नन ऑफ द अबव. Consider the following statements about white label ATM in India. Non-bank entities are not allowed to open such ATM. Opening of such ATM requires Reserve Bank's authorization under the Payments and Settlement Systems Act 2007. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? Please answer. Option A, one only. Non-bank entities are not allowed to open such ATM. Consider the following statements and identify which is correct. The RBI asked banks to drop the no-frills tag from the basic savings account as the nomenclature has become a stigma. It has asked banks to provide the zero balance facility in the basic banking accounts along with ATM cum debit cards with 2% of quarterly balance as extra charge. This answer option C 1, 2 and 3. मतलब both 1 and 2. इसका आंसर होगा ऑप्शन डी 1 and 2. The interest rate in India have been deregulated except for saving deposits, non-resident India deposits, small loans up to rupees 2 lakh, export credits. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन बी 2, 3 and 4. Non-resident India deposits, small loans up to rupees 2 lakhs and export credits. When the Reserve Bank of India announces an increase of the cash reserve ratio, what does it mean? The commercial banks will has less money to lend, the RBI will have less money to lend, the union government will have less money to lend, the commercial bank will have more money to lend. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन ए, the commercial banks will has less money to lend. Which one of the following is correct? Life Insurance Corporation of India was set up after the General Insurance Corporation. General Insurance Corporation was set up in the 5th five-year plan. Life Insurance Corporation of India was set up in the 2nd five-year plan. None of the above. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी, Life Insurance Corporation of India was set up in the 2nd five-year plan. The acronym SRO being used in the capital market for various market participants stands for which one of the following? Self-regulatory organization, small revenue operators, securities rollback operators, securities regulatory organizations. इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन ए, self-regulatory organization. Consider the following functions of the Foreign Exchange Management Act (FEMA). FEMA restricts activities such as payments made to any person outside India or receives from them. FEMA imposes a restriction on people living in India who carry out transactions in foreign exchange, foreign security, or who own or hold immovable property abroad. FEMA regulates the exporters to furnish their export details to RBI. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन ए 1, 2 and 3. Which one of the following companies is or are eligible for the financial assistance and loans from the Industrial Finance Corporation of India? Limited public companies, public cooperatives, private limited companies, partnership firms. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी 1 and 2, limited public companies and public cooperatives. Consider the following statements about forward market. The forward market is an informal financial market. It is a market dealing in commodities, currencies, and securities. The futures markets lead to reduction in the amplitude of seasonal price variation. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? This answer is option D, all of the above. The forward market is an informal financial market. It is a market dealing in commodities, currencies, and securities, and the future markets lead to reduction in the amplitude of seasonal price variation. What is the difference between debentures and equity? Debentures are sealed bonds acknowledging that money has been borrowed. Equity is a shareholder's share voting rights in proportion to his shareholding. An equity shareholder cannot withdraw his amount, whereas debentures can be withdrawn by taking back the amount. Equity shareholding is more risky compared to debentures, which is bound to return good interest on the principal. Both debenture and equity holders have voting right irrespective of the proportion of holdings, but debentures are of lower value than equity. This answer is option A. Debentures are sealed bonds acknowledging that money has been borrowed. Equity is a shareholder's share voting rights in proportion to his shareholding. Consider the following statements. A forward contract is an agreement between two parties to buy or sell an agreed amount of a commodity or financial instrument at an agreed price for delivery on an agreed future date. Future contract is a standardized exchange tradable forward contract executed at an exchange. In contrast to a future contract, a forward contract is not transferable or exchange tradable. Its terms are not standardized and no margin is exchanged. The buyer of the forward contract is said to be long on the contract and the seller is said to be short on the contract. An option is a contract with which grants the buyers the right but not the obligation to buy, call option or sell, put option, an asset, commodity, currency or financial instrument at an agreed rate, exercise price on or before an agreed date, expiry or settlement date. The buyer pays the seller an amount called the premium in exchange for his rights. This premium is the price of the option. Swaps is an agreement to exchange future cash flow at pre-specified intervals. Typically, one cash flow is based on a variable price and other on a fixed one. Which of the statements given above about derivatives are correct? Let's consider option C, 1, 2 and 3. मतलब all of the above. Consider the following statements. Headline inflation is a measure of the total inflation within an economy. Headline inflation is affected by areas of the market which may experience sudden inflationary spikes such as food, vegetables or energy. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी, both 1 and 2. Headline inflation is a measure of the total inflation within an economy, and headline inflation is affected by areas of the market which may experience sudden inflationary spikes such as food, vegetables or energy. Which one of the following factors leads to the inflation in an economy? Inflation led by rises in the black economy, deflation led by declines in agricultural commodity prices, inflation led by rises in agricultural commodity prices, none of the above. इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी, इन्फ्लेशन लेड बाय राइजेस इन एग्रीकल्चरल कमोडिटी प्राइसेस. Consider the following items. Food products, energy. Which of the items given above are mainly responsible for the core inflation? तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी, both 1 and 2. Food production, energy. Economic growth is usually coupled with deflation, inflation, stagflation, hyperinflation. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन बी, inflation. Consider the following statements. Deflation is a decrease in the general price level of goods and services. Deflation is the negative inflation rate which falls below 0%. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी, both 1 and 2. Deflation is a decrease in the general price level of goods and services, and deflation is the negative inflation rate which falls below 0%. A rapid increase in the rate of inflation is sometimes attributed to the base effect. What is the base effect? It is the impact of drastic deficiency in supply due to failure of crops. It is the impact of the surge in demand due to rapid economic growth. It is the impact of price levels of the previous year on the calculations of inflation rate. None of the above. Let's answer option C. It is the impact of price levels of the previous year on the calculation of inflation rate. Which of the following statements is or are correct? High growth will lead to inflation. High growth will lead to deflation. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. Let's answer option A, only one. High growth will lead to inflation. Consider the following factors: deficit financing, black money in an economy, high rate of population growth. Which of the factors given above are responsible for the demand pull inflation in an economy? Let's answer option D, all of this. Deficit financing, black money in an economy, and high rate of population growth. Consider the following statements about the inflation. Inflation can lead to inequality in the distribution of income in an economy. Inflation can lead to recession in the many sectors of an economy. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? This answer option C, both 1 and 2. Inflation can lead to inequality in the distribution of income in an economy, and inflation can lead to recession in the many sectors of an economy. To convert GDP at market prices into factor cost, we need to deduct indirect taxes and add subsidies from it, subtract subsidies from it and indirect taxes to it, deduct indirect taxes and subsidies from it, deduct weight of inflation for the period from it. This answer option A, deduct indirect taxes and add subsidies from it. One of the key features of many flagship schemes such as MGREGA and NRLM is that they are demand driven. What is or are the features of the demand driven scheme? The process is driven from the grassroots of the society. The planning is highly centralized. Implementation is largely done by the central government. Choose the correct option. Let's consider option C, 2 and 3. The planning is highly centralized and implementation is largely done by the central government. Which one of the following has been the main measure of the rate of inflation in India? Consumer price index, consumer price index, industrial worker, consumer price index, agricultural labor, wholesale price index. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी, wholesale price index. Consider the following statements regarding the Office of Economic Advisor. It is attached to the Ministry of Finance. The weekly compilation and publication of wholesale price indices is done by the Office of Economic Advisor. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? Let's answer option B, only 2. The weekly compilation and publication of wholesale price indices is done by the Office of Economic Advisor. The existence of a parallel economy or black money makes the economy more competitive, makes the monetary policies less effective, ensure a better distribution of income and wealth, ensure increasing productive investment. This answer है option B, make the monetary policies less effective. Which of the following statements is not correct regarding the banking sector of India? At present, there are 26 nationalized banks in India. Foreign banks and regional rural banks do not come under the category of scheduled commercial banks. Banks have the freedom to regulate their own savings bank deposit interest rates. Nursing Home Committee is related to banking sector reforms. This can answer option B. Foreign banks and regional rural banks do not come under the category of scheduled commercial banks. With reference to Indian economy, consider the following statements. Three types of consumer price index are used in the determination of consumer price index. Consumer price index of industrial worker and consumer price index of rural labor has given same weight in the determination of inflation. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? This answer option A, only one. Three types of consumer price index are used in the determination of consumer price index. Which one of the following is correct about the Phillips curve of an economy? An inverse relationship between the rate of unemployment and the rate of inflation. A directly proportionate of the rate of unemployment and the rate of the inflation. An inverse relationship between the rate of GDP growth and the rate of inflation. A directly proportionate of the rate of unemployment and the rate of the unemployment. This answer option A, an inverse relationship between the rate of unemployment and the rate of inflation. Consider the following statements. In the disinflation, the prices are still rising but at a lower rate. Deflation results into a sustained increase in the real value of money and other monetary items. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? Is consider option C, both 1 and 2. In the disinflation, the prices are still rising but at lower rate, and deflation results in a sustained increase in the real value of money and other monetary items. Which one of the following is commonly occurred in the biflation in an economy? Inflation, deflation, disinflation, both A and B. This answer option D, both A and B, inflation and deflation. Which among the following is the country's first greenfield airport developed under the Public-Private Partnership Initiative? Rajiv Gandhi International Airport, Indira Gandhi International Airport, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel International Airport, Bangalore International Airport. This answer option A, Rajiv Gandhi International Airport. In India, Infrastructure Debt Fund can be established as a trust or a company. Which the following regulated the Infrastructure Debt Fund set up as a trust? SCBI, RBI, IRDA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन ए, SCBI. Which one of the following is likely to be the most inflationary its effect? Repayment of public debt, borrowing from the public to finance a budget deficit, borrowing from the banks to finance a budget deficit, creating new money to finance a budget deficit. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी, creating new money to finance a budget deficit. Consider the following statements. Tobin tax is a tax on all spot conversion of one currency into another. Tobin tax is a currency transaction tax to find a way to manage exchange rate volatility. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी, both 1 and 2. Tobin tax is a tax on all spot conversion of one currency to another, and Tobin tax is a currency transaction tax to find a way to manage exchange rate volatility. Which one of the following inflations is the type of inflation that results from past events and persists in the present? Hyperinflation, shockflation, built-in inflation, biflation. This answer is option C, built-in inflation. Consider the following services or goods. Universalization of secondary education, cleaning of Ganga and Yamuna river, polio vaccination. Which of the services or goods given above are merit goods of an economy? This answer option D, all of these. Universalization of secondary education, cleaning of Ganga and Yamuna rivers, and polio vaccination. Which one of the following factors can cause the cost push inflation in an economy? Oil price shocks in the world, fluctuation in the production of food grains, imposition of high commodity taxes, all of the above. Is considered option D, all of the above. Oil price shocks in the world, fluctuation in the production of food grains, and imposition of high commodity taxes. With reference to inflationary indices, consider the following statements. At present, the WPI for all commodities, including manufactured products, is released only on a monthly basis in India. International practice for reporting CPI inflation is also on a monthly basis. Which of the statements given above are correct? Is considered option C, both 1 and 2. Which one of the following laws stated that the size of a farm and its growth rate are independent? Gibbert's law, Goodhart's law, Hubbart's law, none of these. Is considered option A, Gibbert's law. With reference to balance of payments, which of the following constitute the current account? Balance of trade, foreign assets, balance of invisibles, special drawing rights. Select the correct answer using the code given below. Is considered option C, 1 and 3. Balance of trade and balance of invisibles. Which one of the following coined the term stagflation in the economy? Len McLeod, Milton Friedman, J.M. Keynes, William Phillips. Is considered option A, Len McLeod. Consider the following statements. Spend tax is a type of currency transaction tax that is meant to be used for the purpose of controlling exchange rate volatility. The initial idea for a transaction tax specific to currencies is attributed to James Tobin. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? Is considered option C, both 1 and 2. Spend tax is a type of currency transaction tax that is meant to be used for the purpose of controlling exchange rate volatility, and the initial idea for a transaction tax specific to currencies is attributed to James Tobin. What is the main function of banking department of Reserve Bank of India? To do banking business with customers, to provide liquidity to the economy and absorb liquidity, to issue the currency in circulation and its withdrawal from circulation, none of the above. Is considered option C, to issue the currency in circulation and its withdrawal from circulation. Fiscal consolidation is one of the objectives of India's economic policy. Which of the following would help in fiscal consolidation? Increasing taxes, getting more loans, reducing subsidies. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. Let's consider option B, 1 and 3 only, increasing taxes and reducing subsidies. Consider the following statements about the measurement of the inflation. Prices of the items of particular sets are compared to prices of items of 5 years ago. Inflation is measured based on the consumer price index, which measures the change in prices of a selection of goods at retail rates. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? Let's consider option D, neither 1 nor 2. Which one of the following measures is generally used the government to contain the recession of the economy? Increasing money supply, increasing government spending, decreasing taxation, all of the above. Let's consider option D, all of the above. Increasing money supply, increasing government spending, and decreasing taxation. Consider the following statements regarding the food price index in India. Food price index consists of two subcomponents, namely primary food articles and manufactured food products. The weight of the primary food articles is less than the manufactured food products. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन ए, only one. Food price index consists of two subcomponents, namely primary food articles and manufactured food products. Consider the following statements. Inflation benefits the debtors. Inflation benefits the bondholders. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन ए, only one. Inflation benefits the debtors. Consider the following items. Sugar cane, vegetable oils. Which of the items given above is or are the essential commodities under the Essential Commodities Act 1955? तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी, all of these. Sugar cane and vegetable oils. What are gilt-edged securities? Securities issued by the multinationals. Security issued by the government or blue chip companies. Security issued by the private sector. Securities issued by the joint venture companies. इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन बी, security issued by the government or blue chip companies. SEZ is a pet project of Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Urban Development, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Ministry of Rural Development. इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी, Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Consider the following statements. Allowing free capital inflows and FDIs facilitate the migration of human resources. Imposition of quantitative restriction on trades. Which of the statements given above is or are important ingredient of the globalization in true sense? इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन बी, 1 and 2. Allowing free capital inflows and FDIs and facilitate the migration of human resources. Which of the following is not an objective of the Rashtriya Uchchatar Shiksha Abhiyan? Improve the overall quality of existing state institution by ensuring that all institutions conform to prescribed norms and standards and adopt accreditation as a mandatory quality assurance framework. Assert transformative reforms in the state higher education system by creating a facilitating institutional structure for planning and monitoring at the state level, promoting autonomy in the state universities, and improving governance in institutions. Enable conversion of some of the colleges into exclusive research centers at par with the best in the world. Create opportunities for state to undertake reforms in the affiliation system in order to ensure that the reforms and resource requirements of affiliated colleges are adequately met. तो इसमें नॉट एन ऑब्जेक्टिव पूछा है, तो इसका आंसर होगा ऑप्शन सी, enable conversion of some of the colleges into exclusive research centers at par with the best in the world. Consider the following statements. Rashtriya Sam Vikas Yojana is launched for equal development of minority dominated districts of India. Krishi Vigyan Kendras are institutes established by ICAR for post-graduation degree and PhD in agriculture. Which of the above statements is or are correct? इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी, none. Consider the following statements. In the 11th five-year plan, the average food grains production was more than 200 million tons. The main reason for the increase in the production of the coarse cereals in 2000s was mainly due to increase in demand of coarse cereals as a nutrient food. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी, both 1 and 2. Consider the following statements. Indicative planning is a feature of mixed economy. Perspective planning is used by socialist countries, where each and every aspect of planning is controlled by the state. Which of the above statements is or are correct? इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन ए, only one. Indicative planning is a feature of mixed economy. What is multiple cropping? when seeds are sown on a piece of land and then seedlings are transplanted in different fields. Dividing a field into two or more parts and then sowing different crops in each part. Raising in succession only one type of crop in the same piece of land. Raising two or more crops in succession in a year on the same land. इसका आंसर ऑप्शन बी, dividing a field into two or more parts and then sowing different crops in each part. Which of the following statements about the oil and gas production in India are correct? The oil and gas sector plays a major role in influencing decision making for all the other important sections of the economy. The government has allowed 100% foreign direct investment in petroleum product sector. इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी, बोथ आर करेक्ट. Consider the following major components of the ITES industry: IT services, business process outsourcing, engineering services, and R&D software products. Which of the above are the major components of the ITES industry in India? इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन ए 1, 2, 3 and 4. IT services, business process or outsourcing, engineering services, and R&D and software products. Which among the following statements is or are true with regards to WTO membership? All WTO members automatically receive the most favorable nation status. Over 75% of WTO members are from developing countries, and the membership allows them access to developed markets at lower tariff. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन बी, ओनली 2. Over 75% of WTO members are from developing countries, and the membership allows them access to developed markets at lower tariff. Select the correct statement which explains the phenomena of squiflation, a sustained across the board price increase, an episodic price rise pertaining to one or a small group of commodities, a price rise of one or a small group of commodities over a sustained period of time without a traditional designation, a price rise in the times of long run recession. इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी, a price rise of one or a small group of commodities over a sustained period of time without a traditional designation. Consider the following sentences. Seasonal employment results in large-scale migration of the agricultural laborers from agriculturally backward regions to that of the developed regions. In seasonal unemployment, once the seasons are over, the agricultural workers, especially landless laborers and marginal farmers, remain unemployed. Which of the sentences given above is or are correct? इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी, both 1 and 2. Unemployment which occurs when workers move from one job to another job is known as seasonal unemployment, frictional unemployment, cyclic unemployment, technological unemployment. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन बी, frictional unemployment. What is or are incorrect about the ideas of microfinance in India? Select your answer using the code given below. Microfinance is a small-scale financial intermediation inclusive of savings, credit, insurance, business service, and technical support provided to needy borrower. The thrust of the MF initiative is to channelize production and consumption credit in multiple doses based on the absorption capacity of the prospective borrower. तो इसमें इनकरेक्ट पूछा है, तो इसका आंसर होगा ऑप्शन डी, neither 1 nor 2. Which of the following is introduced by banks to increase financial inclusion? Stimulus package, internet banking, business correspondent, corporate banking. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी, बिजनेस कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंट. और इसी के साथ हमारा आज का टेस्ट सीरीज कंप्लीट हो गया है. तो अगर आप चैनल पर नए हैं तो चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर दीजिए और नोटिफिकेशन आइकन पर क्लिक कर दीजिए ताकि आपको सारे वीडियोस के अपडेट्स मिल सके. और अगर आपको वीडियो अच्छा लगे तो लाइक कर दीजिए, साथ ही अपने दोस्तों के साथ शेयर कीजिए ताकि उन्हें भी हेल्प हो सके। तो हमारा आज का वीडियो यहीं तक था। थैंक यू, थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग।